see how it goes. Wow, this feels very nostalgic, actually. I know you can't hear the
Are we
music.
live?
Yeah, we're live.
Are we recording?
We're recording, and somehow the moment that we're live, then you blow the mic out, and that's okay, though.
That's tradition.
Off to a negative start. We'll start again. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Mission Stories. My name is Troy, and I'm here with my co-host, the perennial Lyndon Naglis. Hello, Lyndon.
What do you mean by that?
Always my co-host. Perennial. Isn't that what that means? Always?
Always.
The perennial classic. Always the classic.
I only hear it in context of flowers.
Okay. Here's my...
Perennials are the ones that always come back.
Come back. It's a perennial. Yes.
And I am a flower in regards to my co-host, Ian.
Yes. And we could also say that about this podcast, in that sometimes winter comes, not actual winter, but sort of a podcasting winter, wherein no one knows, where have we been? What have we been doing? Mm-hmm. Last time we recorded was, I think it was April.
Months ago.
I think it was actually April. It's July now. It's like mid-July. We're right in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And we haven't even recorded. We renewed the podcast, and we're like, we're going to do it.
We were fully committed.
We're going to redo it. We're going to commit. And then here we are in
Season 2, baby.
Season 2. We haven't really even done we haven't even talked about that. Anyway, this is all to say we're back with Avengers. And can we... Hey, Lyndon. Mm-hmm. So you have to speak, otherwise no one knows we're there. What if we just went silent?
And we just nodded, I was like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we just started sign languaging to each other.
Wouldn't make for good content.
Bad content. Good joke, though.
Wait, do we have emails?
Oh my goodness.
In these last 2 months, has anyone emailed us?
I don't know. I'll say this, though. The podcast has been getting a strange amount of listens per week. Just this week alone, there's been 87 listens. I looked at that today. In the past 7 days, 87 listens of the podcast. We haven't recorded in
2 months.
2 month.
That's got to be Russian bots.
It's got to be Russian bots.
I'd like to meet all 87 people.
I don't know if it was 87 people. You know what I think maybe happens is that one person discovers it and then they go on a binge and they're just like...
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, oh, it's like Stranger Things, but for my ears.
It is Strange Things.
And welcome to Mission Stories, and we're here. What was I doing? Oh, I was going to get some...
you're going to open up that crusty email.
I'm going to blow the dust off of the email.
Like an old book, you got to wipe the dust off the cover. And you're going to see probably at least 12 ads. Uh-huh. Those targeted ads where they're like, join our podcast network.
Hey, we're going to advertise on your podcast there. And, okay, oh my gosh, there's 4. Okay. All right, we have 2. Let's just start with emails.
Yeah, let's do some emails.
All right. Okay, so this is from Alex Williams.
Is there a date on it?
May 1st.
May 1st.
Hey, sorry, buddy. Okay, this is what he says. I was thinking, boy, these guys need help on their content. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
The first thing he says, these guys need help on their content? Who does he think we are?
Hey.
A couple of schmucks?
Well, he's still out there making podcasts weekly.
Is. Yeah, he's still grinding it.
Yeah.
Good for him, I guess.
We won't say the name of his podcast.
And congratulations to us for getting back into our podcast, our very successful...
Congratulations to me.
Podcast.
And you.
Thank you, Lyndon, to you and to me. Then he said, okay, he's like, boy, these guys need help on their content, ellipsis, ... And then you started talking about Chick-fil-A. And to that, I say, overrated.
Oh, here we go. Stirring the pot.
You know what those are?
Are you doing air horns?
No. Shots fired.
Okay.
Shots fired. Also, he says, Shake Shack, I had it. Also over. What is this guy trying to do right now?
He's trying to get a reaction out of you.
Or what was he trying to do?
Is this his ultimate game plan? He's like, I'll get Troy riled up to give him better content.
He might.
I see right through you.
We
will not be forced into
I'm
going to
read the rest of this really monotone. I had it. Overrated. Tried it. Meh. I would rather have had a good old teen burger. What?
A teen burger from A&W.
It didn't work. I tried to be monotone. I couldn't do it. Have you had Shake Shack? I assume we talked about this.
Well, let's do a little briefing here.
Last time on Mission Stories.
See, the listeners probably, heard those 83 people just listened to it last week.
Yeah.
But we didn't record. We recorded it in April. I had just gotten back from Utah.
Right. Yeah.
I don't even think I was engaged the last time.
Oh, yeah. Dude, so much has happened. So much. And you are engaged.
I'm getting married next week. And I wasn't even engaged the last time we recorded.
In a week from, last time. So when did you go to Mexico then?
No.
I went to Hawaii mid-May with my parents.
No. Didn't we record after you got back? It was post-Mexico, post-America. It was our last episode was like basically our travel review.
I mean, I guess I don't think that even happened though. Let's just take a look here what our last
Did I just talk to you about things in real life?
Yeah, and we didn't record it.
And I assumed it was recorded for everyone
and
to hear?
We didn't monetize any of that.
Idiots.
April 2019 General Conference Review was the last freaking thing, man.
No way.
Believe it? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely referring to the fact that we talked about I went to America, I had Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
And we talked about Zaxby's. We talked about American fast
food. One of my favorite topics.
And so you talked about Shake Shack.
Yeah.
And your love of it.
And I do love it.
And Alex is here to tell us how overrated Shake Shack and Chick-fil-A is.
A good old-fashioned teen burger. A teen burger? Who do you think has the best burger of all, like, your standard? Let's go Wendy's, McDonald's. Do you want to throw Burger King in there? Dairy Queen? Who else? I guess A&W. The big five?
I would say the best, if we're on it.
Are those the big five?
Sure.
McDonald's, Dairy Queen, Wendy's, Burger King.
A&W.
A&W.
Burger King's at the bottom in Canada.
Yeah, they're bad. It's not good. Burger-wise. Honestly, he's probably right that burger-wise, probably A&W is the best of those five.
I'd take a Baconator.
Yeah, Wendy's is pretty good. Wendy's is quite good. I'm always getting these Big Macs though. I'm a Big Mac man.
Here's a hot tip for you and the listeners.
Okay.
You like your Big Macs?
Yes.
Get a McDouble like a Mac. Saves you money, just as delicious.
You know what I'm willing to bet money on? We had this exact same conversation 2 months ago. I seem to recall you saying that, but I don't remember.
Stop buying Big Macs.
I like the little bread in the middle.
Have you tried it? No. Listeners. The listeners will try it and they'll thank me.
Okay.
You will live in darkness.
Well, there you go.
Big Mac darkness.
Fine. Moving on. True and faithful, he says, Alex. P.S. In Bow River, this is all this old stuff we're just bringing up. In Bow River State, Carburn Park, YSA, now we're talking about Calgary, YSA steak,
so old
esoteric crap.
Well, let's get through it.
Carburn Park, YSA ward had the highest home teaching numbers. This is, what is this, back when home teaching was a thing?
Home teaching is extinct.
So I don't reckon YSA wards actually bring those numbers down. Not all the time, at least. So we said
it's just a takedown. He's just trying to take down everything you say.
So we said something off the cuff, and obviously we didn't know what we were talking about.
I think we did. I'll defend it.
That
we said the creation of the YSA steak was like a cost leader or something.
Right? Yeah, and that no one would home teach or do their ministering or whatever.
So to bump up the numbers of the regular steaks. Create a lost steak.
Right, create a lost steak. And so he's apparently refuting that.
We are 100% correct, and he's wrong.
Yeah, sorry. I feel like Alex is becoming our number one villain. Did we have one before him?
He's kind of got like a little villain mustache, I feel like.
That's true. He does. Gosh, for those who don't know and are just joining us for the first time, Alex Williams is a recurring character on the show. He has a podcast. He emails us a bunch.
He's been on the podcast.
He's been on the podcast.
I've been on his. You've been on his.
I've been on his. I think my listens were disappointing on his show.
Really?
I don't recall. I think so.
My gosh, did my episode get more listens than your episode?
I mean, obviously, people love you more. That's just a given.
Call him right now. Let's get those numbers.
Calling now. Just kidding. PPS, he says, coffee. Well, I've been giving coffee crisp to all my friends here at BYUI. So if they all get kicked out, oops. And then he's got the emoji of the white guy throwing his arms up like, huh?
Oh.
Shrugging.
I don't know.
So there's Alex. And we're 11 minutes in and we're look at all this content we're creating.
Yeah. He's giving coffee crisps to people at BYUI.
What do you think is the moral? Is this right? Is this wrong?
It's very likely he will burn in hell.
Yes.
Alternatively, it might not be a big deal.
I'm going to go ahead and...
It might be a big dill. Pickle.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that. In either way, I was going to go with you.
Good.
Pickles, chips. Do they have dill chips in the United States?
Merca? Not sure.
American listeners, answer us this. Do they have dill pickle chips in the United States of America? If yes, please email us at themissionsstoriespodcast@gmail.com.
Text 921345. Yes.
No, don't do that. That's nothing. Lynn just made those numbers up. Where else were we? Oh yeah. So, coffee crisp, coffee, dead end. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I don't know what the coffee thing was even about.
General conference.
Did we oh, right. That was going to be maybe they were going to.
There was the rumor. They're like, coffee's in.
Coffee's in. Tea's out. Black is the new black. Black coffee.
Didn't happen, though.
Didn't happen. Okay. So, right. That's what I was going to say. Guess who the other person who wrote an email was?
Andrew Cacao?
Yes.
Probably to promote his new podcast.
Yeah, he's got a podcast. Did you okay, I'm just going to read his email. He says, Troy. Oh, he's just addressing me.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk to me.
Should I not read this? Oh, we'll read it. I listen to our episode daily, mainly to remind myself how dominant I am.
That's his daily affirmation.
I cringe when we start our conversation on post-mission dating anxiety, and I talk over you and move on. Okay, all right. And in all seriousness, I'd really like to continue the conversation. I think it's an overlooked issue, and the only support at church is be a man, get over it, and support and fulfill your priesthood duty. Also, he says, have you used TriCast or Clean Feed for calling in guests? Call me at his number and we can work something out. You guys are an inspiration. So maybe we should bring him back on. We can talk a little more. We should just say he's got a podcast.
It's
now.
true. He has a podcast.
Talks about rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's
That's his little thing he uses, TriCast.
Is it good? Oh, for his because they're in different places.
His little co-host lives in Edmonton.
They don't get the benefit of eye contact.
That's right.
And playing off each other in the room.
That's right. But you know who's going to be in town for my wedding next week?
Who?
Andrew Cacao.
We should have him back on.
Let's continue. Speaking of the emails just being about old content, he emails about his episode we did at Christmas.
Yeah, and nobody cared about. Should we see how many listens it got? Just while we're here, just while we're on the topic.
Just while we're talking about
which
Andrew's
one was
episode.
he? Which one? Christmas.
It was in the winter.
I swear it was October. Oh, here we go. He got 147 listens.
Very nice.
Which is down from Mercedes Fright. She got 154. And anyway, it's just a big mixed bag. The pornography one seems to be a popular one.
What's our most listened to episode?
That's a good question. Let's figure this out.
Let's crunch the numbers.
Last
Beep,
7
boop, beep,
days.
boop, boop.
Crunching. All time. Holy crap. Guess how many listens we have? All time.
Thousands.
5,959.
We're so cool.
I haven't looked at that number in a while.
Really cool. Actually, you know that I think about it, these 87 listens the last week. I think my brother said he re-listened to his episode.
Oh, okay. So everyone's just re-listening.
They just love the content so much they have to go back.
Yo, you know what we should do? We should do a best of. And for people who
best of season 1.
Best of season 1. Yeah.
And we'll arbitrarily decide when season 1 is.
Do you want to take a crack at the most listened episode?
No.
Okay.
I couldn't even guess.
I'll give you a hint. It's think intuitively about just logically which one has been around the longest.
Our first episode.
Our first episode has 232 listens on it. Theo's Guns episode has 204. And number 3, Dating, Post-Mission, and Humiliation with Aiden Christensen, 202 listens.
No way.
People like that one.
Oh, people did like that one.
Because
you were worried that it would be terrible, but then there's that pain factor.
Well, it's just
the cringe factor.
Cringy and so painful, and it's a real...
the episode was a train wreck.
Yeah.
And they had to stop and look.
Yeah. We need
look
more
with
of
their
those.
ears, because it's a podcast.
I was thinking about this. Do we need to be more, clickbaity with our titles? Because all of these, the number one episode.
They're informative.
Yeah.
It's Aiden comes on to talk to Troy about their former dating life. You won't believe what happens at 14:38.
Yeah. We need
put a timestamp in there.
We totally should too. We kind of tried to do that with the Instagram, the videos and everything.
People loved those.
Those were well received, I think. A lot of work, too much work.
Yeah,
but
too much.
I think it was. You know what I think could make it much easier?
Oh yeah.
Is one, and we were talking about this just before we started, but one camera on everybody, and not having to. We sort of did that with Jeremy, but it wasn't a great look. That was a bad look because my lens, it wasn't wide enough and all the rest. So anyway, point being, we need more clickbait.
Yeah, it's
guns,
Lyndon and Troy
pornography, dating. It's those are the 3 biggest ones. Yeah. Because of the clickbait title.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
is it that clickbaity? It's just literally what we talked about.
Yeah, maybe we should just talk about more clickbaity stuff. You know what else I was thinking about, Lyndon?
What's that?
And maybe this can be the episode where we talk about the future of the podcast, and then there will be a future. But I'm thinking, do people want more mission content? Are we, if we ever plan on going big, and I do. Listen, if we're around for 10 years, I think if we just did this for 10 years, it would be something in 10 years. You and I we would both be 40 at that time, talking about our missions on a weekly basis. But this is how it works. More mission content? I don't know.
I think we still could do. We're out of mission stories, personally.
we could just read.
We could fabricate them.
What if we did this?
I could be one time I got transferred to Sonoma, Mexico.
One time there was
the president was hey guys, this isn't our mission. We're not supposed to go there.
Yeah.
But let's baptize the Mexicans before they become illegal immigrants, because Donald Trump's going to build the wall.
Also,
because back in 2009, we were talking about Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, yeah, he was still around.
He was threatening to become president.
More well-liked back then, probably.
We can mix modern narratives with these stories.
Yeah.
Just kidding. That's a bad idea.
Horrible. That was your worst idea yet. Your mom's going to hate that I just said that. You know, it's funny. Sometimes I catch myself just thinking about like even like just then as you were doing your thing, and I was like, I kind of interrupted you. I was like, oops, you know, because your mom hates that when I interrupt you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare
I?
And it's, you know, it's like if one person hates it, 1,000 people hate it.
And yeah. And so
if my mother hates it, 1,000 other mothers also hate it.
1,000 other mothers of different other brothers hate that I do that. And they probably hated what I just said. Why don't you just take over and I'll go in the other room here.
What were we talking? Oh, the fact that our podcast is called Mission Stories.
Maybe like, do we need to...
It started off telling mission stories.
Yeah. And
it's evolved, devolved, it's evolved.
It's evolved for sure. Which way? We don't know. It's like the stock market. It's taking a random walk.
From the very beginning, Mission Stories was just a brand.
It is just a brand, and it is just sort of like... I kind of like that... I mean, here's the thing. Like, we were talking about Andrew's podcast, and it's like they talk about rock and roll music, or that's their shtick. But probably they don't talk about that the whole time. I feel like everyone needs, like, unless you're Joe Rogan, you need some little niche to occupy.
Hey, I still got people waiting in the back hall to come on and tell their mission stories.
I'm tired of hearing people's mission stories. But you know what? People seem to like to listen to them, though. I don't know. I just like, it's part of it's like we have to enjoy it, you know? And I don't, some guests are great, some less great. And I don't want to point fingers at anybody. And I've already said way too much on this subject because now all the guests are going to be like,
that is like, you're the least woke person I know. You're saying there's a hierarchy of guests?
Yeah, like lobsters, Lyndon.
Like little clippy clappity lobsters.
Look who's back. There's a man, Jordan Peterson. Actually, I think he's going through a rough time right now, Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you follow him on social media.
I follow him on the Twitter.
He's posting about, I think his wife is sick from a surgery or something.
Oh, that's right. That's been a while now.
Has it? Yeah, months, I suppose.
Shoot.
Anyway, best of luck all the best.
We're probably not going to get him on the podcast now.
Now that he's busy with his family.
Great.
Dang it.
Next time.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think we can. Here's what we can commit to do. Always find a through line back to missions. Whatever we discuss, find the through line back to the mission.
Life's a mission.
Because life is a mission.
Life is a mission.
And part of our lives, we're serving missions. And we still serve missions in our own lives now.
Well, you talked about Joe Rogan still has a shtick.
Right.
Remember, he's like an MMA podcast.
That's true.
Who also does everything else.
That is true. He could just, I mean, yeah, you could really call that podcast the psychedelic drugs, MMA, you know, that's it. Comedy podcast. So,
like, he has a lot of comedians on his guests.
Uh-huh.
We have a lot of RMs.
And just a lot of people we know. Sometimes they're RMs, sometimes they're not.
A lot of the people he knows happen to be comedians.
That's right.
A lot of the people we know happen to be RMs.
RMs, yes.
It's just, we're not doing it on purpose.
It's not on purpose.
A little bit.
I mean, it's called Mission Stories. Gosh.
Well, hey, we just did the sketch, Marriage Stories.
Should we talk about that?
I think we should.
We have to address it.
I think, we have to address this part of it.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't know what it's at now, but you told me at one point, you're like, guess how many views it has.
Yes.
I think it was like at 600 or something.
It's, I mean, the last time I looked, this was a little creepy, but the last time I looked, it was at 666 views on Facebook.
Scary.
Let's take a look now.
Remember when we got emails from the devil?
Yeah. Did we ever find out, did we ever tell people who that was? Hey, guess what? 703 views now.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm sitting there with Jasmine and my mother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guess how many views it has? And my mom's like, 600. And Jasmine's like, 50?
50?
And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, you think we're such hacks that we can only scrape together a few dozen views?
Come on! You know what, though?
So I was like, close this without going over. Cheryl necklace.
Mom, you win again.
I was just like, my mother hated the sketch.
I knew that she did.
But at least she recognizes.
Game recognized game.
She's like, yeah, it's going to get hundreds of views, obviously.
She hated it because it involved
the thing.
Your life too much, I think. Your actual life.
Here, she plays along pretty well because she's like, oh, that Troy, we got it. Like, when you watch a movie, suspending your disbelief.
Yeah.
Like, she like completely ignores the fact that it's like a script and like that I was involved.
Yeah.
Like, she pretends that it's like an actual, just we happen to film a legitimate conversation between us. Uh-huh. And she's just like, you dirty dog, Troy. So she just like she suspends the whole disbelief thing. Okay. She like buys into it completely.
That's good.
So that's nice.
That is nice.
That's like what you're going for when you make these things, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm like, Mom, like obviously this isn't a real conversation. Like it's scripted.
None of this is accurate. Well, some of it.
She's like, I can't believe he would say that.
Say what? What specifically?
Well, I mean, you did target her directly. You were gonna frame her for money laundering.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You know what's funny? That list was my first draft of that list too, and I think it just happened to I don't know. I like writing quickly, and I think it worked out pretty well. But yeah, I don't know. So, I'm sorry, Cheryl. I didn't actually mean you specifically. I mean,
she was reference.
Yeah,
the mother of the groom is Cheryl.
Cheryl is the mother of the groom, which
she's like,
you're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, and then she like left the comment. It was like, "You're going down." And when I read that, I was like, "Oh no,
you're going down, Cooper."
I felt legitimately bad because I did not want to. I just don't want to upset your mother. I really don't.
Here's the thing.
These things get to me.
She's a real good sport about it, I think.
She is a good sport about it. She's a great sport. I need her to know that I have no ill will towards her.
Now we're starting to get real personal here.
Uh-huh.
But spoiler alert, you're the MC of my wedding.
Yes, I am.
And there was a little bit of hesitation. And there's a little bit of worry about the content.
Yes.
While you're mastering the ceremonies.
Hey, what do you think?
And you know who came to your defense? My mother.
Your mom? Really?
Yeah.
She did she?
She was just like, she's like, Troy knows the line.
I do know that. No, I know the line.
I think she knew that if she said, she's like, don't worry. Troy knows the line. Mm-hmm. He knows the line between respect and disrespect.
Yes.
And I think she said that because she knew I would tell you she said that.
Right.
And she's in like the long game here.
And now we're on the record for everyone has had said that, and I've heard it. Here's the thing. I get my lines. Folks, I've done this before. This will be my 4th time. So let's see. Jordan Johnson, I emceed his wedding. I ghost wrote for my friend Andrew's wedding. My friend Nick emceed that. I did my sister's wedding. I've done this before. And I get the lines from...
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. You were first choice.
From the people, from the couples. You get the lines from the people. So it's like, you tell me where the line is. And I'll creep up to it, and I'll put my toe on it. I'll jump on it a little bit.
So really, they're only...
I'll blow right past it if I feel like it.
So my mother's right. You know the line.
Yeah.
I guess their true concern should be who's been feeding you all your material.
Yeah. Listen, guys, it's not going to be... It's going to be cutesy and fun. That's it. That's all.
That's what I'm trying to tell them.
That's what you shoot for with these things. You're not trying to... It's not like the Comedy Central roast of Bob Saget. It's your wedding.
Who's that guy who's the professional roaster?
Jeff Ross.
Yeah, you're not Jeff Ross.
I'm not Jeff Ross. He's a personal hero of mine, but I'm not him.
Love to be him.
Love to be him. I bet you wish he was going to be at your wedding. Probably not, but
he'd be a bad wedding host, MC.
For this wedding, yeah. I think he might cross a few lines. He might make too many Mormon jokes, which we won't make any because it's like, or should we? That's a great idea. Dang it. No, we know the lines. It's going to be cutesy. It's going to be, I hope, funny. It seems like it's going to be a big enough group of people that the rhythm at which I speak and the volume at which I speak will indicate that, like, these are jokes and you should laugh at them. And I'll hopefully, everything will work out. The words themselves, hopefully they're funny too.
Yeah.
I think half of it's just sounding like you're telling a joke.
We've spoken too much about my upcoming nuptials.
And I
back to the wedding, the marriage stories.
Marriage stories, right. So
the film, the sketch.
The sketch. So what happened for the uninitiated is and if you haven't seen it, go to my Facebook page.
Or mine.
Or yours.
I shared it.
We should share it on the Mission Stories podcast site. Facebook keeps bugging me. It's just like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while, bud. I'm like, shut up. We're not ready yet.
Yeah.
But now we are. Anyway, go watch it. The idea... So here's what happened. There's a film fest every year, Calgary YSA, little film fest. Everyone gets to make a little movie. And for the last, I don't know, this is the 5th one, I think.
For the last 25 years, we have submitted a film.
Yeah. And
for decades and decades.
At least 6 years. It's been 6 years because even before that, we did that Mavericks one, which I watched recently, and I stand by it. I think that's funny.
There was a period, and we've talked about this, where you were like, I don't think that was our best work. And I will always say, like, years later, I was at, like, some party, Josh.
Yeah.
And Josh was like, I just saw your movie Mavericks. He's like, that was really funny. He's like, that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
Yeah. It is funny, and I encourage all to watch it. I don't know even if it's available anymore. I think it got flagged for copyright infringement because there's so many songs in it. It's just needle drop after needle drop.
Right.
But
and you had to risk it just to get it into the festival.
Yeah. And yeah, because like I did not anticipate it having a wide release on YouTube necessarily, or I did not think about that. So yeah, 6 years we've been doing this. It's the highlight of the year because it always gets a pretty good laugh, and I feed off of those laughs like a vampire. I need them to survive, and I don't need them, but it feels good, right? It feels nice. This year, usually in like years prior, they would have it at an actual theater. A movie theater, they'd rent it out, and the sound was good.
Shout out to Plaza.
Shout out to the Plaza. This time...
Shout down, I guess, for not giving us a reduced enough rate to use it.
I guess, yeah.
I don't want to get Plaza. We can get into the politics of the IRC, because the IRC doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, right.
What the organization it's been replaced with
I don't even
just
know.
had a clean sweep.
Oh, did it?
I think it's the ISSA. It's a little too close to ISIS.
ISIS? Yeah, I was about to say.
But
is there a chance ISIS has infiltrated ISIS?
I think the Calgary YSA Institute Society, whose name I don't actually know anymore, might be an ISIS puppet.
We're going to go on record here and say that the Institute Association of Calgary is ISIS. Shots fired.
I'm going to go on record saying I'm not sure. But I'm also not sure that it's not.
It's like I go out of my way to make these audio clips where people could really just take them out of context, do whatever they want with them. Having said that, let's move on to the actual gist of this story, which was that this year the film fest was in a church building, and the not the same, needless to say, for one major reason for us. So like the first movie plays, it's just someone's like travel log of like their camping trip with their buddies. Typical.
Yeah, they got
one.
drone footage.
There's always one of these, and you sort of just sit through it and be like, nice, good work, guys. Sort of condescendingly in my head, I'll think that, and I'll be like, ours is better. And then, and the thing is that the audio was kind of crappy on there, so I was like, yikes, guys. Keep in mind, I use like the mics that we're using right now, which produces perfect, crisp audio. We use that for the film. And so when ours came around, wasn't I surprised when the sound of it sounded something akin to, like if I was talking like, I don't know if you can even still hear this at all, but that's what it sounded like the whole, and it was just
and
like
desynced.
It was desynced about 10, it was like, I don't know, 3 seconds off. 3 seconds off from the lip flaps, the actual audio. It was just garbled and muffled. No one could hear anything. Jokes were falling like flies left and right. Little things where the timing needed to be just right. No one was getting it. No one could hear it. No one was laughing.
Yeah.
It was agony.
And it's in like an 8-minute film.
It's 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes.
So they had 8 minutes of like missed jokes.
Sitting there watching.
Desynced, just audio, video.
It's one thing if it's 1 minute. 8 minutes of that.
Yeah.
So I was in a rage. I was in a complete rage. I was trying to hang on as best as I could. Could you tell that I was upset?
Yeah, like, I mean, like, your upsetness was like overwhelming mine. Where, like, because now I had to be worried about how upset you are.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like Troy's going to lose it.
I was.
It's like I'm obviously not happy about it.
Yeah.
But that's hardly a concern.
And then, like, the next video after ours was filmed on an iPhone. It was a funny video. I think it was the girls did one where it's like a mutual.
Yeah, a little mutual parody.
And it was funny and it was wonderful and everyone was laughing at it and I felt bad about myself because nobody laughed at ours. But kudos to them. And the sound was like perfect and loud and right in your face, and it was filmed on an iPhone, and we had gone to all this trouble just to make it perfect, and it just fell so flat. The explanation for it was that they used like the church's Wi-Fi to broadcast the audio to the speakers, I think. And everyone was on the Wi-Fi, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Well, because you got to think the sound file on our... If this is true, and I'm going to be an apologist for the people here, the sound files for ours would take up much more bandwidth than everyone else's.
That is true.
So if it's true that they're using the Wi-Fi to broadcast our audio to the speakers... that would cause some problems.
I don't want to throw any blame to the people who organized the event. I really don't. I think it's...
Because we would never want to blame ISIS.
We wouldn't want to
be on their hit list.
That's the last thing we want, is to be on the hit list of ISIS. So, honestly, it was perfect. Thank you, ISIS.
It was... And, you know, it's just, you know, the last film festival that we'd ever do, so...
That was kind of the... That was my thought going into it.
But now you're like, we got to fix this.
Nah, honestly, I think I'm good.
It's over.
I think I'm good with it being over.
We didn't do mission stories.
No.
We didn't do another mission story sketch.
No.
We did marriage stories.
We did marriage stories, kind of just like a little thing. It's me and Lyndon. Sorry, Theo and Michael. Michael's been out of them for the last two.
We're like, too bad Michael moved to Edmonton. Except he's like, guys, I live here in the summer.
Yeah, he's like, I'm here. I could do it.
I'm available.
Nah, we're
just
good.
Call me and let me know. And we're just like, too bad Michael moved to Edmonton.
So sad.
Guess we can't do a sketch with Michael because he lives in Edmonton.
You know, it is sad, though, because I'll show these to people, and they'll be like, hey, what happened to that Michael guy?
Where was that handsome guy?
Yeah.
That used to always have those jokes.
The handsome, funny guy. Where'd he go?
Why? Yeah. Where's like the Bradley Cooper of your sketches?
Yeah, there was a guy that looked like Bradley Cooper. Really funny, too. Where'd he go?
Edmonton.
He's in Edmonton. Now shut up. Give our video a like.
But he's been available every year.
So I honestly do feel bad. Mike, let's do another one. Mike, Theo, let's get the boys back together.
Let's do a 10-year Mission Stories reunion.
Let's friggin' skip the friggin', film fest altogether.
We don't need it.
I'm done with it, dude. If it's going to be like that again, it's not worth doing.
Let's rent the plaza ourselves. Call it the Calgary YSA Film Festival.
We'll show all of the... dude. Did I tell you this?
Well, like people can submit, but we'll have a selection committee. It'll be us.
You know what? That's not a horrible idea. Like we just make our own film fest.
Yeah.
We incur all the costs.
We do all the
risk,
all the marketing.
all the marketing.
Because there's no marketing for this.
Dude, what if we do a live Mission Stories show and we, I don't know, show all this is a great idea. We do a live show. You'll watch them all back to back the way they were meant to be watched. So you're sick of it by the end. I will say this. They were sort of short on videos for this film fest, and they asked if, like, because they knew that we had several of these, and they're like, do you want to do them all? We can show them all.
Like do all the mission
All
stories?
the Mission Stories videos at this most recent thing. And now...
And you said no.
I said no.
I feel like you asked me about this. Did you ask me and did I say no?
I think we both agreed, horrible idea. That
but
being
now,
said...
now that we've watched Marriage Stories go down in flame at its premiere,
yeah.
now I'm just like, yeah, show them all. I think, you know what would be a real treat?
What?
This is my smug little thing I keep in my back pocket is that stupid Black Magic video.
Yeah, that's right. That is a good video. And here's my smug
I
little...
will always claim the greatest applause and the most laughs in YSA Film Festival history.
History?
History.
You think history?
You were there, Troy.
First,
the plaza was packed.
I think it's comparable to other... I'm just trying to save face here, and because I want that honor, but obviously...
I know you do.
Here's the thing. I'm glad to be a part of it, and my smug little part of it is that I think I elevated that to...
Next level.
A next level. It wouldn't have been as good without me. I just want to say that. Can I just say that?
No one's saying that. I'm just saying...
I just want to... Can you just assure
Black
me?
Magic is the funniest film in YSA history.
Can you just reassure
And
me?
the funniest part of it was
Me.
Troy Remington Cooper.
I don't know. It's probably it's probably at the end when this was crazy. We can't even say what happened in it.
Are we not yeah.
It's almost like Birth of a Nation where like we get really racial in it. It's called Black Magic for a reason. Basically, people switch races.
Yeah.
From white to black. And
it's viewed in a very positive light.
Not initially by the... But here's the thing. We gave... Because it's Caleb and Ben Sojabwami, Caleb Britton, and they
we gave them license.
They just started improvising about...
They went off script.
They did. Anyway, go watch. I think it's on Josh Langstaff's YouTube page.
He was the producer on that one.
Yeah. So it was a funny video. And listen, Lyndon, I
think that one got taken down because he had some some copyright music.
I think he had some Dre on there, maybe.
Yeah.
Lyndon, I want to make some more of these videos. I'm making investments into some good equipment. You know, lighting is the next thing that I've invested in. Good lighting.
Didn't we talked about that? Right?
I believe maybe we did.
I watched a video about how lighting changes a scene.
Did you watch that?
Yeah, I told you all about it.
Well, I watched some videos too. 3-point lighting. It's what we've been missing this whole time. We're getting into the weeds here. Technical stuff. I don't know if you care about.
I want to look as good as Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
Because he's got some good lighting.
Key lighting. You got the key, you got the fill, you got the hair light. We need all three. We have had none of it.
We've been letting the people down.
We have. So we're gonna.
But what was the point of this story? Right. So Marriage Stories.
It
got a wide release on YouTube and Facebook. Because its premiere was awful.
Its premiere was so bad, dude.
And people have liked it.
I've had all good feedback from it. No negative. I guess someone wouldn't be like, this sucks to your face, but...
yeah, and it's like people that aren't YSA are watching it and they're commenting and be like, haha.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's sort of broken through a little bit. YouTube has less views. It's got 29, but that's just because, I don't know, it's a bad way to... Facebook, man. Facebook's it. That's where it's at.
Thanks, Zuckerberg.
Thanks, Zuck. 700 views. That's great. And I don't know. we'll just keep, I don't know, doing something like something like that.
So much has changed. Raptors are NBA champions.
Kawhi Leonard is my new hero. I'm in love with him.
Still.
And we're getting married next weekend, actually, so I can't actually come to your wedding. No, I got on board with that bandwagon, and I'll admit I was close to getting off a couple times because I can't handle live sports, apparently. It's just hard to watch.
False.
It's hard. It's when you're invested.
It's easy to watch.
When you're invested, it's hard. When you're little guys and they're going to lose, and you're going to watch them lose, that's hard. Lyndon.
Who are you watching lose?
The friggin' Raptors.
The Raptors.
Dude, they barely won.
They barely won.
They friggin' barely won.
That's true. There was some real edge of the knife moments.
Even when they won, they were like, did we win?
They're like, this is it, right?
Like, can we celebrate? I don't know yet. We'll see. Yeah, it was a good series, though.
What do you think about his free agency decision?
Clippers?
Yeah.
I don't see. Here's the thing. It's sort of like The Bachelor, where now I'm intrigued to watch all of next season because of the finale of this season. I really am. I don't know enough, honestly, about the league at this point in time to really. I mean, I did read some article where it's just like, because of this decision. I mean, like, maybe he was going to go to the Lakers.
I don't think that was ever going to happen.
No?
No.
But anyway, this guy in this article thought maybe he would. But because he didn't, he went to the Clippers. The field's wide open next year. Anyone could win. So they say.
So they say.
So
they think it increased parity in the league, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's a good thing.
Yep. And here's my parody of Kawhi Leonard. Yo, Kawhi Leonard here. Going to the Clippers.
Not bad.
Lyndon just had a blank. That was the hardest 10 seconds of my life. Staying firm in that. While I looked into your dead eyes. Staring back at me. I'm just like, oh, please let this end or let something funny come from it. And it never did. So, okay, so basketball. You're getting married. Should we talk about that at all?
Yeah, we could.
When's that happening?
On Friday.
Friday. And are you excited?
Let's see. Yeah, I just I bought my suit, my tie,
Yeah.
my pocket square,
All the things you need.
my shirt,
Oh, also a shirt. Yeah.
and shoes.
Both of them?
Yeah,
Socks?
left and right. I have not bought any wedding socks. I feel like my existing socks are sufficient, but I have been tempted.
I was hoping we were just going to go through all the things that you need for a wedding. Wedding vest?
No vests.
No vests.
Vests are what trashy people do to try to elevate themselves to where they should be.
It's like what a trashy person thinks rich people wear.
Yeah.
Yeah. A silk vest. You know those guys on the Mission? Oh, a Mission story. You remember those guys. There's always like, there must have been one guy on your mission who like did a silk vest. Or
On
a
a
pocket
on a
square.
suit?
Yeah. You didn't have one of those?
I don't. Well, no, I don't have any memory of someone wearing a 3-piece suit. Certainly not in Arizona. It's too hot.
Now, there were a couple guys who wore 3 pieces, and they actually made it look good. There was one guy who looked like, actually, come to think of it, this guy wasn't really around back then, but Chris D'Elia, the comedian, he looks a lot, the guy I'm thinking of looks a lot like Chris D'Elia, and he would wear these 3-piece suits, and he made it look good. But there was, I forget who it was, but I swear he had these horrendous, like silky green. He looked like if Lucky Charms guy came to life, and you know, like just a green.
He's like a leprechaun.
Hey, you'll never get my Lucky Charms. And also, yeah, just he looked like he did like he was like a bingo
Announcer.
Yeah, like he worked in Vegas.
Do you do a lot of bingo in Vegas?
No, they don't do any bingo in Vegas. I'm sorry.
He could have been a Vegas pit boss, maybe.
He's a Vegas pit man. Hey man, I'm happy for you, honestly, for getting me. I mean, I don't feel like you're abandoning me at all.
Yeah, that was a big part of the sketch.
Yeah. You know
Yeah,
what?
I don't remember. Was it Jasmine? Someone out there, they're like, "How does Troy actually feel about you getting married?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, all of our sketches are just dramatized versions of real life.
Just little tiny peeks into the mind of me, mostly, and somewhat others. Yeah, I realized that, especially like this year and last year. I was just like, man, I'm like, this is too personal. It's getting too like. But the truth is, remember, the other one.
Yeah. I am familiar with the latest Mission Story sketch. It's maybe our best sketch yet.
Yeah, there's some real laugh out loud moments in that one that I'm quite proud of, but it also is a little long and a little slow in some spots, and I feel very self-conscious about that.
But you love the slow burns.
Yeah, I mean, you need to. That's true. That is true.
And you got the best performance out of me yet.
Yeah, people really like your performance in that. We still, what we still need to do is that one where you're shilling essential oils on the podcast. I think that's a really, and you know what? The draft that I wrote is 15 minutes long, but let's just do the 15-minute version.
I bet we can get 500 views on it.
I bet we could get at least 100, and I think we should try it. Or we'll edit it into something viewable.
Okay.
Listen, the truth is I actually, I don't.
This is what people want to hear. They want to hear how you feel that I'm getting married.
The truth is, it's fun. It's like a reflection on myself of like, I guess I'm the only one left who's like, it's getting close to the wire of being the only one left who's not married with children of my close friends. But honestly, I think life is too short to worry too much about comparing yourself to other people, and I'm honestly just happy for you. I really am. I thought you maybe would never get married.
What?
I wondered. I wasn't sure.
Someone did ask me the other day. They're like, Lyndon, did you ever get to a point where you felt like, yeah, it might just never happen? And I was like, no.
How dare you even suggest that?
I was like, listen, man. I was just like, yeah, you go along. You've been chugging along through your 20s, unwed.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I always knew. I was like, yeah, I'll get married. You get to a point where because like, don't you get to a point where you're just like, I'm never going to get married? I'm like, I've gotten to that point with certain girls.
We're never going to get
It's like, we're never going to get married.
Yeah.
But I'll get married.
To a beautiful girl named Jasmine.
Yasmin.
And she is a friend of the podcast and hopefully a future guest.
That seems very unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, like, look what happened with me when I had my girlfriend on. Things didn't work out too well with that.
No. It's a recipe for disaster.
Did we ever address that? We never did.
I don't think it needed to be addressed.
It
That's
didn't
probably
need to be.
why we never addressed
So
it. But here we are.
You're saying I shouldn't even talk about it now.
It seems like something you want to talk about. A little backstory for everyone. Troy had his girlfriend on an episode of the podcast. Eventually, they broke up.
Yeah.
And he goes back and listens to that episode.
Every night, so I fall asleep. Do it. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's always interesting because it's like in a situation, you know what it is? It's like, this reminds me of a life story from
Life's a Mission.
Life's a mission, after all. It is a mission story because life's a mission. I dated a girl early in my 20s after I had come home from my mission. I think this was, her name was Lena. Won't do last names, but her name was Lena.
She's got a new last name anyway.
Yeah, she's married now. Everything turned out well for her. I went to Red Deer. Medicine Hat. Medicine Hat is where she's from.
You've already doxed her.
I've already doxed her. Anyway, so there's a bird on my porch right now with like a straw in its mouth or something. No, just kidding. It's a piece of fluff.
Focus up. We're in Medicine Hat.
There's a bird. Okay, so we're in Medicine Hat. She's meeting her parents for the first time, and her parents. You know how like when you meet someone's parents, I don't know what it was like for you meeting Jasmine's parents, but like I feel like you kind of expect them to meet you halfway a little bit, be friendly, be nice, be like, so what do you like to, what do you do? What are your plans or whatever? To talk to you.
Yeah.
That didn't happen with me. They didn't really like to talk to me or engage with me at all.
Were they like ignoring you, or did they like acknowledge your existence?
They acknowledged I existed. More like I was the help, something like that. It's like you would treat a maid that was just there to clean or change the air conditioning, something like that. Like you're not going to talk to them. You're going to initially say hello to them, but you're not going to like strike up a big old conversation. You're not going to ask them what their hopes and dreams are. And they didn't do that with me. Actually, no, okay, so they mostly didn't talk to me. Her dad drove me in a car. So we like had gone somewhere, and he's like, Troy, you're going to ride with me now. I'm like, oh, okay. And so we get into his car, and now we're driving. Keep in mind, I'm 21, fresh off the mish. The only thing of value that I think that I've done, and really objectively have done, is go on a mission. I have not started school yet. I've done nothing else. And it's all that I have. And
I feel like it's important that like this, like he's
Okay.
like a very prominent member of the community.
Right, yeah. He is, yeah.
I feel like it's good context.
He's a prominent member of his community. He's he's in the medical profession. He's well respected. He has no personality to speak of that was enjoyable to be around. In fact, after the fact, actually, my parents and I were like looking him up on, I don't know, WebMD or whatever the Yelp for doctors is.
Right.
And someone was like, he has horrible bedside manner. And I'll say this, I would agree with that. We're riding in the car, and I'm like, I've only served a mission. So I'm like, hey, so did you serve a mission? Thinking that we're going to bond over this. No, I have not served a mission. Okay, well. And then he tries his thing with me where he's like, so do you want to be a doctor or what? I'm like, no. So we literally have no overlap other than we've both kissed his daughter, presumably, like.
On the mouth?
Hopefully. I don't know.
I'd say
probably at some point he's kissed his daughter on the mouth.
I'm going to say your overlap is just a mutual interest.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's a better way to put it.
I wouldn't have gone the way you did.
See, this is why I'm glad you're here.
So you talk about her the whole time.
No, we talk about my career. He's just like, what are you going to school for? I'm like, business. He's like, what's that? I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I haven't taken it yet. I just got home from a mission.
I'm going to be a businessman.
I'm going to be a business boy. I'm going to sell hats on Kijiji. I don't know, man. So that was, this is a big, long story to get to the thing that reminded me of all of this, which was at the end of the trip, things had not been going well, obviously. And it came time, all her family lives in Medicine Hat, and it came time to take a picture. And when the picture came time to be taken, I volunteer. I don't know which came first, me volunteering, Lena suggesting, and her father concurring with this. But I was like, I'll take the picture. It was all at once. It was like, yeah, you should take the picture. Yeah, for sure you should take the picture. You know why? Because maybe you'll break up.
Because we don't need a memory of you.
When you're gone. And that is what happened on the podcast.
You didn't take the picture. You were in the picture.
She was in the picture. Now there's a constant memory that we dated. Whoever I end up marrying can't ever listen to this podcast, that's for sure.
We got to burn the tapes.
This is going dark.
They've all been recorded on tape. We need to burn the tapes.
I got a closet full of tapes.
So the question was, how do you really feel about how getting married? And this is how
good.
Troy really feels.
And I did what I do, and I made it about me.
Well, the question was about you.
I told a big, boring story about it.
Can you tell that story at my wedding, please?
No, bro. I got some snappy jokes for you.
Good.
These are gonna be short, snappy jokes. We're gonna be moving through quickly. It's gonna be good. No, I feel good about you getting married. I'm excited. I'm happy for you. I hope we continue to do the podcast. I hope that's fine with Jasmine. Is that okay with her?
I think the only thing she's not okay with is being on it.
Well, good, because she's not welcome.
Invitation rescinded.
No girlfriends allowed. New rule.
Or fiancés.
Or fiancés or wives. Yeah, I think that's not a bad rule, actually. And it's good. Yeah, okay. So I feel good about it. Lyndon.
Those are the rules going forward.
Those are the rules. Season 2. Is this our official end of season 1, maybe? Have we just recapped season 1? Not really.
We'll change the name of the podcast to Marriage Stories.
Yeah.
Because I'll be married.
You'll be married.
And we'll be like, oh boy.
Well,
it's like, here comes Lyndon. He's married.
We have
and here is Troy, single and sad.
Single and pathetic and sad.
Just kidding.
And free as a bird, baby.
Free as a bird.
A little eagle sound there. I wish we had drops where we could just do an eagle sound. Can't. We've been doing this for an hour. Should we just keep talking?
Has it only been an hour?
It's been 1 hour. We can keep going. It's been a while.
It's been some time.
It's been a while.
Oh, yeah,
we could do a doctrinal dive. Those get traditionally lower views than others.
What?
Yeah, they hover. They seldom crack 100. They hover around 80 to 90.
The people that do listen to them love them.
Yeah, true.
And call them fan service. I don't know.
I don't know. What else do you want to talk about? I don't even...
I had 2 months of material just ready to... We could talk about The Little Mermaid.
Right, my favorite topical topics.
Topical topics. What's going on in the news today?
I wanted to record way back when the Star Wars trailer got released. I wanted Theo to come on and we could do a breakdown of the Star Wars trailer because that's relevant, right? Not anymore, though.
Well, yeah, I was like, yeah, they did do a trailer.
Endgame came out. That was a good movie. Thanos snapping everybody. Snapping, left and right.
That's right.
We're just...
Remember when we were going to make a podcast about movies, and then we're like, wait, there's too many.
Yeah, plus it's like, you know what I hate? It sucks when like something you kind of know and are used to and you love, it's like, hey, we're going to do something else. Support this too. It's like, ugh, really? Okay. All right. Okay.
But yeah. Yeah, I guess we have to boycott Disney now.
Why? Because Ariel's black?
Yeah. Instead of a redhead.
People are upset about that, it seems.
Here's my question.
Are they? I don't know.
Sometimes I think there's a lot of fake outrage.
It's Russian bots trying to goad us into being outraged, but everyone's like, who cares? I don't know, whatever.
Mermaid's a mermaid.
Yeah, I really don't care about Ariel being any ethnicity. If I was going to choose one, though, I might choose Asian or Japanese or something.
Japanese mermaid.
But, of course, Mulan's coming out. She's Chinese, so... That looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Mulan movie?
I always saw the trailer for that, and then I was like...
That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
All of these other ones look like garbage to me, but that one looks...
Ooh, did you see the new clip for The Lion King?
I did not.
It is a cesspool...
Dumpster fire.
Of visual effects, CGI, 3D animation. It's like...
Oh, boy.
Like, because they're like, here's a lifelike lion singing.
Yeah.
But it's like, lions don't sing.
Lions don't sing, dude.
So it's like, there's not like the facial emotion from like the animated movie. Instead, it's like a CGI lion opening its mouth and words coming out.
Just dead-eyed animal just like opening its mouth. The minimal range it's capable of. Yeah, that's the thing. These animals like bears, lions, they're very intriguing, but their eyes are just like the eyes of killers,
Yeah.
apex predators,
Right, and it's like Pumbaa looks like an actual warthog, and a warthog in real life are like these disgusting creatures.
Yeah.
Whereas like, when Disney animated it, he's like a cute little red pig.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love those. Listen, those cartoons, it's like I view all of these movies like, let's take something really like these beautiful classic films and make them like worse, I guess, like a little worse by making them live. Like, you're not improving it by making it live action. I really don't think so.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Well, a lot of people could talk about the greed of Disney, how they're just like churning these out every 6 months.
Yeah.
They're like 90s nostalgia.
Yeah, that's big right now, right?
It's like I saw Beauty and the Beast. That was a few years back.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, look, Emma Watson.
Mm-hmm.
She was Belle.
Yeah. Were
But
people upset about that?
No, they thought they're like perfect casting.
Yeah.
And she's like a star, so it brings that star power to the movie. And then you watch it and you're like, okay, I don't think it was better than the animated one.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. And then I recently watched Aladdin.
Okay.
And I was just like,
Garbage.
No, I was like, what a good time.
Oh, you liked it?
Yeah. Better than the animated one? I don't think so.
Do you want to hear my experience with that?
Because at first I had the same like Twitter outrage where I'm like, how dare you try to replace Robin Williams?
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Will Smith went out there. He did his own genie. Better than Robin Williams? I don't think so. But he made it his own.
Did you watch it in 3D?
No.
I watched it in 3D I was in Hawaii at the time, and we were sort of killing time before our flight, and it was unwatchable. Like, the 3D was just like,
Why are they still making 3D movies?
I don't know.
Like, I thought we were done that cyclical trend where it like comes out in like the 50s and everyone's like, oh my gosh, 3D movies. And then it dies because it's trash.
Yeah.
And then like the 2000s roll around. They're like, we're doing it again.
They're going to try.
And it's like, you got to stop. Like,
it was like, I couldn't watch it. I walked out.
And then I think in like and then in 2050, 3D movies will come back again.
And they'll be so great. Avatar, 2021 and 23 will be out. And it'll be a wonderful time.
Yeah. I don't go to 3D movies.
Ever.
No.
I sometimes like it. Prometheus in 3D, that was a good time.
Was it IMAX 3D?
It was IMAX 3D.
See, because it has to be IMAX 3D to be watchable.
Okay, interesting. I didn't realize. Yeah. What else? Gravity. That was another one. IMAX 3D.
I probably would have thrown up.
You probably would have.
Did I tell you that story? I got
see?
nauseous in the theater watching. No.
Yeah. Did we see that together? Or did I think I might have watched that with David Hyatt?
Wait, is Gravity the one with Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. I almost.
To this day, there's this thing you said that really sticks with me where you're like, I realized as I watched Sandra Bullock, drift into the abyss, that I have a deep, seated fear of space and drifting into space. And I was like, I do too. I think we all do.
I think we got to be anchored to this little earth of ours.
And the gospel of Jesus Christ.
That as well.
As restored through the prophet Joseph Smith Jr.
Is this the second time you've bore your testimony on the podcast?
It is. Grandson of Aziel Smith.
Hey, that's a fun trivia.
Do you know what I was thinking actually about that?
What's that?
I was thinking, because I feel like I know a bit about church history, Joseph Smith history specifically, which is the history of the church, really. I think we should, I don't know. I feel like it would be informative. We talked about that. Made like a little mini series out of it. Put some effort in.
What's the angle?
I don't know what the angle is yet, but it's like we talk about it. Because here's the thing. There's some things.
I recently had a chance to, we're driving somewhere. My mother brought something up, some story from church history. And I was like, did you hear? And it's like more like a folk story. I was like, did you hear about the mob member? Oh, she was talking about the history of the members of the mob that killed Joseph Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's folklore that they were all like cursed throughout their life. Right. But then someone actually did the research, and their lives were a lot of them were fine and they were very successful. Some of them it didn't work out. But I was like, what about the guy who tried to cut off Joseph Smith's head and he was struck dead?
Yeah.
And I was just
Is that
like,
real?
It's a real story. Where it's like, yeah. And the mob members like saw him drop dead and they're like, okay, let's not touch him.
Do you think it would be specifically... Here's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in telling the truth. Like, would it be specifically when you... Here's the thing. When you really get...
What are you trying to do? Like, take down
not
Mormon
a takedown,
folklore?
Not a takedown, but like I think we're at a disservice by believing fake stories. Like, do you know the story? Apparently, the story about in Hawaii, there's a temple, and in World War II, Japanese, fighter bomber pilots looked at it, and the pilot was like, I have a funny feeling about this place. And then he didn't bomb it. Comes back, learns about the temple, gets baptized, happy ending. Apparently, that never happened. Now it's a fake story. It's heartwarming.
How dare you?
But apparently, it never happened.
How dare you?
And so it's like...
Yeah, and that mob member dropped dead for trying to decapitate the prophet.
I don't know. I just like, can I just make a... Listen, people might get upset by me saying that.
Well, no one's heard that story. It's not like a... So you just want to do...
It's a common story. That's a common story.
In Hawaii. I guess.
Hawaii, yeah.
But it turns out you can't actually find this pilot.
It's hard to... When they've tried to trace where the story came from, eventually the church was like, hey, this isn't a real...
So it's folklore.
It's folklore. And it's like these kind of stories, I don't want to... Like,
are the foundation of my testimony. So how dare you discredit them?
Well, that's exactly right. It's like, if that's the foundation of your testimony, is this folklore story that happens to be false, like that's not a good thing. And so, I don't know. I just personally
So you just want to take down all the whitewashed history.
I would like to know that... I would like to...
It's like when I bitterly tell people about Joseph Smith refusing alcohol for his surgery as a boy.
Yeah.
And then they always like tell us that story where he's like, no, Papa, just hold me.
Yeah, that's
and
all
he did his surgery without it.
Yeah. Because
even as a boy, he loved the word of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go on to learn that he was like a borderline drunk for a good chunk of his life.
And the rest of the 12
And they don't tell
apostles.
us that part.
Yep.
They just tell us the part about when he was a boy. And it's like, that's the time he should have probably had some.
Yeah. Have it then. Don't have it when you were having it.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, these kinds
but,
of...
I mean, people don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear it, but it's like... I feel like there's a little too much of I don't want to hear that mentality in our church, you know?
I don't want to hear that either.
It's this whole thing like, this doesn't confirm my bias. I don't want to hear it. It's like, but it's the truth. Do we value the truth in the church? And I am pro church, and I think that we do. We do value it. We value the truth. Mm-hmm. Isn't there an article of faith about that?
I am very certain there is. Very confident.
So let us seek out the truth, I say, and let us, in so doing, take some of the things that we think are true and hang our hat on and do away with it.
Perhaps shine the sanitizing light of day on it.
Shine the sanitizing light of day in a way, and this is important, in a way that is not negative. In a positive light. It is a positive light that we would be shining on these factual inaccuracies. Because you can plant gunpowder in the earth all day, every day, but you're not going to get a gun tree from doing it. You have to have faith in real things.
What kind of tree would you get?
You would get a Remington 30-06 tree. I don't know. What do you think?
You wouldn't get any tree.
You wouldn't get a tree. It's just gunpowder. You'd get gunpowder in the ground is what you'd get.
And then some person flicks their cigarette driving by and your field explodes.
Some kid gets his leg blown off. Don't know why I brought a kid into it.
Come on, man.
Sorry. I don't know.
A goat. There's a goat in the field and he loses his leg.
Gets his legs blown off. Gets his jaw. Anyway. Do you think that would be valuable or interesting to people?
I think it would be interesting.
I think so,
I don't
too.
believe in ascribing values to anything. You know me. I'm a postmodern Nietzschean.
Yeah. I think it would be useful. Listen, I think there's a lot of things, and we've talked on this podcast before about some of the things about the church. Here's what we've done. And I've done this myself. We've done a lot of complaining about the things with the history of the church that are like upsetting, testimony shaking, that sort of thing.
Have we done that?
I have. I mean, if you go back and listen, I seem to bring it up a decent amount.
Okay.
But I think
you were going through a thing. No one blames you.
I was going through a thing. I feel like I'm mostly through the thing now, though.
Good.
The thing, here it is, guys. The church is a good organization, and despite all of its flaws and its history, it's our history, and there are flaws. But I don't know. Here's what I think.
Our flaws? I choose not to own the flaws of the past church.
We are not responsible for Adam's transgressions or Joseph Smith's. We just have a nice... That's kind of a cool...
Brigham Young's.
Joseph Smith. Let's keep going. I don't know. I think there's value in knowing the truth, and I think there's value in being able to deal with it in a way that is...
Healthy.
Yeah.
Constructive.
Yeah. Sort of an inoculant. It's like you have to know these facts, and then you have to know them, and then you have to deal with them somehow. And maybe we can help with that, Lyndon. This feels valuable to me.
I support you. I'll be there perennially.
Maybe we sell this as an audiobook. Priestcraft. I don't know. I do think it's valuable, though. It's something I feel strongly about, and we'll consider. Let us know what you think. Email us, themissionstoriespodcast@gmail.com.
Slide into the DMs.
Slide into our DM. Do you want to hear more about that, church history? Do you want to reconcile some church history? Because that's what I would be interested in doing going forward. At least maybe at least a segment of it, or at least one episode in a little while, make it a running series. And if you don't want to hear about it, you can skip that episode.
It's like doctrinal discussions.
Yeah.
Some people will skip it.
Yes. I like this idea. I feel good about this idea, Lyndon. Do you?
I feel good.
You hesitated. Why did you hesitate?
I had to think of a pithy little reply.
Okay.
It never came to me.
In a short amount of time. I was going to say, your wedding's coming up in a week. We don't want to be too hesitant here. We want to be certain about our declarations.
Everything we do with hot feet.
Yes. Yes. I was going to ask you, you're going to be sealed in the temple here pretty soon.
That's right.
How do you feel about that? All the ordinances wrapped up.
Hey, not all of them. Calling an election made sure is an ordinance.
It's true. And that's fact. That's one of the facts we can talk about. I don't know. That is one thing. A key scripture in that scripture chain got changed. No, a footnote. A footnote was changed, which sort of drastically altered
the interpretation
of it. The calling an election made sure versus it's when they're talking about how Jesus, a second comforter will come to you, Jesus Christ or whatever, because that used to be very much associated. And then there was a footnote that used to say calling an election made sure. Back when Bruce R. was doing all the footnotes.
Bruce R. Whose book sits in my car. And who I swear on to give my affirmations.
Yeah, that's a funny story. Do you want to tell that, or is that inappropriate?
Well, it was a joke, obviously.
Oh, you didn't actually do that?
Oh, no, it is interesting. When you get a marriage license, they ask you, they're like, because you have to swear/sign an affidavit.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you want to swear to me or do you want to swear to God? And I was kind of like, why not both? And they're like, you got to pick one. So we're like, God. And then I turned to Jasmine. I was like, I'm going to go get my copy of Mormon Doctrine and I'll put my hand on that.
Yeah.
She's like, please don't. But I did have my phone on the counter, and my phone does have the scriptures on it, so I put my hand on my phone.
Yeah.
When we had to swear our affidavit for a marriage license.
Did you really?
But then
do
I
that?
told you that story because it's funny. But
Yeah,
it's
I believed it.
It's not true.
I literally believed it.
Because my car wasn't even there.
Oh.
But if it was there, I would have been like, can I run and get this book?
You would have actually done it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have committed to the gag, to the
That
bit.
Always commit to the bit.
But Jasmine's like,
Refused, huh?
She's like, well, I didn't even have it on.
What a stick in the mud, right?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It's like,
We love you, Jasmine.
but yeah, I do. I keep a copy of Mormon Doctrine in the back window of my car.
Yeah, so everybody knows.
Like it's
where you
faded,
stand.
like it's faded in the sun because
Yeah.
it sits there, signaling to everyone what I'm about.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce R. McConkie.
Specifically, Bruce R. McConkie, first edition of Mormon Doctrine.
Like
Everything in there.
Like if there's a Desnat for Bruce R. McConkie, I want it.
I want in too. Lyndon, we've been doing this for an hour and 20. I think we've covered some good ground.
A good foundation,
Yeah.
perhaps, for season 2.
We'll have some guests on. I know we have some people who want to come on. Dave Hyatt wants to come on, talk about some stuff. The movie that he did with me in it finally came out. The Cyborgs.
Is it on Amazon Prime?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Just as we cancel our Amazon Prime.
Shoot.
Cyborgs. Can you get it onto Netflix?
Probably. I think it took a lot to get it onto Amazon. So, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about how you have an IMDb page.
I have an IMDb page, yeah. They just make it. If you're in something that's high enough profile, and I guess this happened to be, yeah, I don't know. They just make it. I'm on IMDb. Check it out. Troy Cooper, The Cyborgs. It's all out there, guys. Go and check it out.
Amazon Prime, go watch it.
Amazon Prime.
You can watch Troy swear on TV.
I do swear. I say damn it, I think. And the F word somewhere. Just kidding. I don't.
I was about to say, Dave wouldn't write that.
David wrote? Yeah.
We're going to have a talking with him.
David.
When he comes back
How
on.
dare you make me say that?
It's like, he'd probably be like, Troy went off script so much to swear.
You know what's funny? I think my damn it is an improvisation of my own. It just seemed like the thing to do.
And he's like counting how many he can have to keep it PG. And he's like, I'll allow it.
I think his mom might have been upset with me. Common theme. Mom's upset with me. Guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Mission Stories. My name has been and still is and will be Troy. And this is my good friend Lyndon here.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch the marriage stories on the YouTube page or my Facebook page, or we'll put it on the what's it called?
Mission
page?
Stories
the
page.
Mission Stories page.
The Facebooks. Slide into our DMs on Instagram. For your thoughts and suggestions.
Yeah, do it.
Go check out my wedding registry.
Give Lyndon money.
Send me gifts.
For his medication. The website's gone, by the way. I don't know if anybody noticed that. Website is gone, unfortunately.
I don't think anyone noticed.
Nobody cared. You know what people do care about, though? The podcast.
At least 87 people care this last week.
That's right.
I bet it's just 2 people listening to every episode.
I honestly think it was one person binging, but
I think it's Andrew listening to himself speak every single day.
I wouldn't doubt it. Because
He's probably like 30 of those.
And let's face it, he did dominate me.
Mm-hmm.
He's a dominant. He did talk over. Speaking of talking over people, now I know how your mom feels about how when I talk, interrupt you.
You got Troy Remington Coopered by him.
He Troyed me. Yeah. We got to stop this. We got to end this.
Yeah, it's great being back.
Yes.
Hopefully a lot of people listen to this.
You know what?
I've forgotten what it's like to produce regular podcasts.
I know, yeah.
Because it's almost like I've forgotten. Life's a mission.
Bye-bye. Oh, it didn't end. That's our new catchphrase, by the way. Bye.